Hi guys, this is Jean Holden, producer of the show, and I just wanted to take a minute to let you know where you can find us on the internet. Please go to ThatMan on Fatman.com. There you can find out all the things you need to know about the show. You'll be able to find links to the podcast, to YouTube, to Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram and Snapchat. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Today's show is brought to you by Death Wish Coffee. Death Wish Coffee, the strongest coffee in the world.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and I want to urge you to make a generous donation to the Wayne Foundation so we can stop the sexual trafficking of children. Do it, or I'll find you.
And don't forget to check out our good friend of the show, Mark Live, over at chundertunes.com for all your podcast animation needs. ThatMan on Fatman is recorded with a Zoom H6 handy recorder. Zoom. For creators.
Disclaimer. The show you're about to experience is for entertainment purposes only. The hosts use mature language and conversation just like in most of life. If you're too uptight, this might not be for you. All that said, we really do hope you enjoy the show. But if you don't enjoy it, expect a nice big shipment of my joyous Joker juice on your doorstep in the very near future. Toodles!
Yes, please note that use of all sound effects is done ironically.
Ooh-ah. You are listening to ThatMan on Fatman with Scott and Jean Holden, and they, trust me, have a great ass.
As the world's biggest Kevin Smith fan, I appreciate the fact that somebody finally made a podcast about that interesting motherfucker. So yes, you absolutely did the right thing.
Okay. What has two thumbs and is a huge fan of Kevin Smith? ThatMan!
Scott, who does ThatMan on Fatman podcast.
Yeah.
Ooh-ah.
Well, once upon a time, just a regular man read a book written by the Fat Man. Tough shit written by old Kev Smith.
Ooh-ah. ThatMan on Fatman.
Kev said go out and start a podcast, and so I did, and I had a real blast. But my obsession was driving my co-host nuts.
Who is he? He's that man. He's talking.
Didn't want to bring the podcast down. Needed Pork Chop Murphy to hang around.
Go get him, that man.
So I created a show with one heck of a plan, and I call that show ThatMan on Fatman.
ThatMan on Fatman.
Go get him, that man.
We're gonna talk about Kevin Smith.
ThatMan on Fatman. ThatMan on Fatman.
Go get him, that man.
We're gonna talk about Kevin Smith.
Go get him, that man.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this 4-18 of ThatMan on Fatman. I am Scott Holden, and here in the studio with me in the That Cave is none other than Jean Holden, producer extraordinaire and co-host. Sorry, didn't get your whole title in
I
yet.
said, hey guys, too early. Hey guys.
That's all right. That's okay. There's always time for hey guys.
Hey guys. That's my thing now, I guess. Hey guys.
All right. Well, we have a huge show. Finally, I'm so excited to finally get to play you our interview with Sean Gunn that we did on the 6th of September.
I know.
So that's how long I've been sitting on it. So it's
Right.
about a week ago.
And I wasn't even there.
Nah, Jean wasn't even there. She missed out.
I was so...
She only hooked the whole thing up.
I know. But, you know, I was just happy that you were able to just do
But in
your thing.
addition to all of, the cool stuff with Mr. Sean Gunn, we have another guest who is in the green room. This was unexpected, but we're just going to have to ride this one out.
Yeah.
I'll explain more. But before we get into that, let me... shit, I got to get my shit together and get into the Smetty lines. And now let's jump into the Smed lines.
And now, direct from the That Cave,
What
we
the
give
fuck?
you
laugh over
the
it.
Smed lines with Gene Holden.
I can't help it. Hi, guys. Sometimes it's just too funny. I mean, in many ways.
Everything's off the hook.
So we apparently there's some news about Jay and Silent Bob rebooted.
Ooh.
A special person, a friend of the show, a friend of the Kevin Smith View Askew universe.
This was really nice to see.
I know.
But the funny thing was, it wasn't like news to us.
Right.
Because we've had Brian on like a few weeks ago, and maybe this is where they got the story. I don't know. Yeah, then Brian announced that he would be in the
reboot.
Jay and Silent Bob rebooted.
Yes.
But it was cool because it went on. The article talked about how he's played so many characters, and they're going to attempt to try and incorporate all the different Hickses.
Oh my God, I love all of that. It's
Into
going to be
the-
so great.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to, like, someone that is so near and dear to us and the show, and that to kind of like put that spotlight on him. It's important because he's Dante.
And as an observation, just from the outside looking in, it seems like Kevin is sort of like paying more attention to Dante or working with Dante more lately.
Yeah, it seems it. But
Yeah.
I mean, he needs
not that
to.
they didn't, but
But he needs to, and I think all the clerks, shooting clerks and all that kind of brought it very, very close to his heart, I think. Because all this shit has been going on with,
yeah.
how important Clerks is to people.
Yeah, yeah.
And Dante is huge to Clerks, as well as Scott Schiaffo, Marilyn Gigliotti, and all that. But,
Yeah. Are we going to talk about the Kevin post with the...
Yes, and that's why I
Is that a separate? Is that a separate
Scott
story,
Schiaffo,
or is that
no,
part of this?
He posted the article that he put out for the Clerks Clerks auditions.
Yeah.
And apparently, Scott Schiaffo gave him this information.
Yeah, we didn't realize that the source, because Kevin is very... He's very sentimental.
Nostalgic and
yeah.
mushy. He gets very mushy about things.
Yeah. So,
And, so apparently we didn't know that Scott Schiaffo had ultimately given him.
so I sent a I don't know if it was Facebook or Instagram. I think it was Instagram. I said, I love how you're so sentimental, sir. Because he always busts out shit.
Yeah.
And then he sent a response to the effect that it came from Scott
Came from
Schiaffo.
Scott Schiaffo, and how cool! Like even the
Shout out
response
to
was cool.
Scott Schiaffo.
Scott
yo.
Schiaffo, and he actually mentioned the Chuli's gum guy.
Yes.
And Scott Schiaffo,
And I would
which
like
is
to say,
so cool.
those who listen to this show are very familiar with Mr. Schiaffo.
Yes, and
I have to say, if you should listen, your title may be in jeopardy, so you have to come back onto it. And I say that because Scott kind of wants to be the unofficial most booked guest.
Oh, yeah,
He wants to be our in Saturday Night Light terms, our Steve Martin,
Right.
or our what the fuck was the other guy's name? I can't think of it right now.
I don't know.
He's another genius.
I don't know.
But there was people that they liked when they
John
hosted.
Belushi?
It was like it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't even. It was like their show.
Oh,
It
yeah.
became like they were part of the cast
Right,
almost.
probably like Chevy Chase or something like that.
Yeah, so Scott Schiaffo is that guy.
Yeah, he's that guy.
He's
on
that guy.
Man on
Yeah,
Fatman.
exactly. There you go.
Oh my God, he's not that.
So
Chuli's,
anytime anybody
Yeah.
gives Scott any praise,
right, he's not only that Chuli's gum guy.
I take
he's
it to heart.
that
So,
guy.
Yes. And it was funny too because did you see the picture that Scott posted? Because Scott Schiaffo
Oh my
posted
God,
a picture
he
of
was so
from around that time.
cute.
But what was hilarious is behind him is an open sign.
Really?
And the only thing that
I
can
never
go
noticed
through my mind when I look at that fucking picture is I assure you we are open.
Me too. And what a handsome Scott Schiaffo was a hottie back then.
Yeah, he's a good looking guy.
And then he had
He's still a good looking guy.
Well, of course.
Yes. Yes. Wait, where's my fucking thing of you? I'm not gonna go looking for it.
Oh, that almost sounded like Sean Connery. Or
I
something.
can't believe we're actually still in the Smed lines here.
Yeah, we're in the Smed lines, and I love all that when when he mentioned Scott Schiaffo and everybody. So, what else is going on with the Smed lines? There is a new live show. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, you forget about the sweepers there. Go through all that trouble.
I know. There's a new live show in town in Cali.
Really?
Bitches.
Well, it turns out, it seems like the new announcement things went so well. All right, backpedal.
Yeah, go back.
Fatman on Batman, folks. Recently did a live show in L.A.
Right.
Mark Bernardin and Kevin.
Right.
And they did it at the Scum and Villainy Cantina out there in L.A., which was originally a pop-up bar. But due to the Instagram activity of the last couple of days, I've learned that, Big Daddy Jimmy V was there.
Yep.
And he was there because they were the site of a recent Fatman on Batman Live. And apparently 2.5 hours of a show. And it was a big success, and everyone was really happy. And it was in the Scum and Villainy Cantina. Now, if anyone who's a fan of science fiction will quickly be able to figure out what this pop-up cantina originally was based after. And then to find out that it's not going anywhere, it's going to become a fixture of L.A., was very cool. And they were very nice to us online because we were like, because we saw Big Daddy Jimmy V had posted this really cool picture with Mark Bernardin.
Right.
Great
It's
smiles.
so cool.
And so we liked it. And we were like, we wish we were there.
I know,
and
it looks
they
like
shot
so
back.
much
We wish you were there
fun.
too.
I know.
And I was like,
But
wow.
the owner is JC. I'm sorry, I don't know everyone's name. JC is the owner.
Mm-hmm.
And I am just like, this place looks like so much fun. There's a baby.
It's a little slice of.
There's a baby Groot somewhere in there too.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, there's a
Is
picture
it?
right there.
Oh,
I saw
wow.
a baby Groot.
Well, someone could have brought that because it is a Scum and Villainy bar. Wow, I wonder if I guess Baby Groot makes the cut now.
Oh my God, Baby Groot! Yes,
It's supposed to be a recreation of the Creature Cantina from Star Wars.
I
You
know,
that,
but Baby
right?
Groot somehow fits in. I don't.
So he doesn't really fit in. He fits in with his show though,
He
because we
shows-
have Sean Gunn on.
So does.
Are we still in spend lines?
So check out Scum and Villainy Cantina, SCUM and Villainy VILLAINY Cantina.com, and check them out. And they're open to the public.
And you can go there and act like you're, maybe bust out your lightsaber and
I wonder how that.
have a fight with Pig Nose.
So they're now open permanently, Wednesday through Sunday.
Awesome.
No reservations, 6 p.m. till whenever.
Cool.
So
It's
hang
a
out
cantina.
with your friends. Like
No droids allowed.
no droids.
They don't like that. Their kind aren't allowed.
Yeah. No muggles.
You have to
either.
leave your droids outside.
I don't know. Muggles.
We don't like their kind. So they were showing that
yeah.
racism against droids.
Can muggles go, or is that different? That's Harry
It's
Potter.
a wrong world there. Come on. You're
I
like,
was
when's Spider-Man going to join the Super Friends?
I know. I'm just being silly. I'm being silly. So anyway, check them at SC Villainy. At SC Villainy.
And thank you again for all the
You guys
the
are
cool
so
rep-
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we
for
will,
following us and for liking us and all that good stuff.
And we will definitely
Yeah,
be
when we come out there.
when we do.
But you guys should pop up in the NYC,
oh my God,
maybe.
pop up in NYC.
It doesn't necessarily have to be another Creature Cantina. It could be like the Creepy Morty.
Right. Yeah, and you got some fans that could, help out. We're here.
I shot that out too. That got a lot of likes.
Yeah.
Creepy Morty.
Oh my God,
Rick
Creepy
and Morty. What can we say? It's fucking genius. And as a result, it even bleeds its way into today's show.
It sure does.
But we'll touch on that.
Yeah, like
in a bit.
I know you guys.
It
Most
bleeds
of you
its way
guys
into the
listen-
interview.
Most of you guys watch Rick and Morty, but if you haven't seen season 3, you have to watch it because it's just perfect.
Yeah, so far it's genius.
The
The last episode
characters-
is so dense and amazing. It's like 3 or 4 different parodies of 3 or 4 different movies.
Oh my God. Can I tell you?
You got Stand By Me, you got Training Day, plus everything else.
I never thought I would have like a feeling like a feeling for each character in that show, and I totally do.
Oh, Summer is like my favorite character lately.
I totally love Summer.
I love Sum.
Oh my God, I totally love the mom.
She's so badass.
But I have to tell you, Morty is my Morty. I feel
I
like
love her
Morty.
because she's a badass with something to prove.
She totally is. I just love Morty, but I'm a
When
Morty.
did all the boomy booms blow up all your wordy words?
Morty words. Wait,
She's so fucking smart.
Sounds like she's talking to Donald Trump. No,
Yeah.
I know. Let's okay.
Well, wait. All right, let's wrap up the
Yeah,
let's wrap up
this.
some headlines.
Yeah.
Do we have
Okay,
anything else? I think we have one more story, do we? That I was going to take.
Oh, we wanted to talk about Grace. Grace is safe.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Grace is safe.
Yes. We want to
The
talk about this
hurricane.
more because Kevin sent out that interesting tweet where he's like, the
Right.
mom.
Right.
No, do you think God's really going to protect the mother who wrote Dogma?
Is
So that-
the mom,
and
is
that
the
made
mom
the
really
news.
good?
That made
right,
news cycles.
right. Is God really going to save the mom of the Dogma guy?
I'm
No.
so over hurricanes and rain
Oh my God,
and wind. And I know we weren't even affected or touched.
And all
but
this
it just
death.
seemed, it's just been like,
And we were feeling guilty because our
tedious
weather was
overload.
amazing. Our weather is amazing in New Jersey, and we're feeling
Yeah.
guilty because all these people, if you can help out, check out the Red Cross, check out, different organizations. I'm sure they're still accepting money, accepting donations. So wherever you can help in your own little community, people are collecting. Box up stuff and mail it. You can do little things. It doesn't have to be expensive. Get everybody together, and you can kind of make it happen.
yeah, there's a lot of charities out online
Right.
that you can investigate.
And we tend to, when things like this happen, we tend to get together. Americans tend to do this.
Yeah.
So let's get together and help each other. Okay? So that's it.
As if we don't have enough crap to fight against now. Now we got to fight against just
weather.
people dying in the streets.
Weather, yeah. So
We got Nazis. We got
take care of each other
Trump. We got all this
as
crap.
much as you can. It's not really the quantity, it's the quality. So don't worry about
There
how
you go.
much. If it's from the heart, it's enough.
All right, I suppose so.
All right. Really? That's enough of the Smed lines.
Yeah, I
Bye,
think
guys.
We've run aground.
Yeah, this is supposed to be happy, and it's like, rawr. Okay, bye.
Shots at a crowd says it all.
Oh my God, I can't believe you did that.
He doesn't change it. I always love that ouch.
Oh my God, so it's whatever. There's so much to listen to. That's so funny. Okay.
This has been the Smedlines with Gene Holden.
All right, we're post Smith lines now. Thank you.
We're done. Thank God.
Well, we got to deal with this fucking jerk off. I mean, we got to deal with our next guest who just. This is not like going to be a full guest segment, so don't panic. I know everyone's on their fucking game and wants to hear Sean Gunn, and
On
I
their
do
tippy
too.
toes waiting.
But last week we had this gentleman on, and apparently his performance blew up. Everyone was really excited by his appearance on the show. So, for whatever, he had to come back again this week because he has a grand announcement. So, at this time, I would like to kick over and welcome to the show. Let me cue up my applause.
And I'm just going to say this. We don't know what's going on or what to expect. So this is a surprise.
Well, I mean, we said we give him time.
Well, yeah, that.
He's always very, very good to the show, very nice and very pleasant to us. So at this time, we would like to introduce Gotham's Reckoning. That's right. Here comes Bane.
Yes, well, thank you. Thank you for
Hi,
having me
Bane.
back on the show.
I missed you. Did you miss?
I very much enjoyed our last appearance together. And I have to say that as a result, I've made certain modifications to my equipment. And I've also decided that I'm going to rebrand. I believe that old Bane is dead.
Oh, so you took the last show as a way to reinvent yourself.
Yes, indeed.
God.
So old Bane is dead.
This is so
and
exciting.
Now I've decided from henceforth I will be referred to as T-Bane.
A lot of people are reinventing themselves these days.
Yes. Old Bane is dead. T-Bane is now in the hizzy.
Oh my God.
And people were very impressed with my performance last week, so much so that I have decided to embrace the full persona. I am ending my stand-up comedy career.
Really?
Yes, and I am entering the hip-hop scene.
Whoa, that is.
As T-Bane, yo!
Oh my God.
In the hizzy.
This is so exciting.
Motherfucker!
So exciting.
Yeah. So I have my first hit, I believe.
Okay.
It drops. It dropped yesterday.
Okay.
But it fell in the cat litter, so I had to pull it out and clean it off. But I
Ooh.
think it should play now. It should be okay.
I hope you washed it really good.
Yes, I did indeed. So
Okay.
this is my first hit, and it's based on last week's show as well.
Oh.
Yes, because I discovered that I can, by somehow cutting off air to my mask, I can choke and have an orgasm, and it's amazing. And
Really? Had you ever tried that before? That's the first time you tried it.
No, it was when I installed the new software, So, yeah, and when I do it for too long, it chokes me out,
And then it feels good, apparently.
Yes, but it can lead to another problem, which is the nature of the song. So, without any further ado, I would like to drop for you live my new hit by Bane. That's right, no longer. See, because some people don't know this, but my other name is Tom. So Bane will work. I'm not stepping on anyone else's toes, per se.
You're incorporating both names together.
Yes, I am Bane, in the hizzy, old school, cliche. All right,
is that in the song? Cliche.
No. Here it comes, without any further ado.
Show me what you got.
That's a lovely voice.
T-Bane.
That's a lovely voice.
Kicking in old school.
Fire risers. It would be extremely painful for you
to kick in old school. Autoerotic asphyxiation often leads to premature ejaculation or PME. PME. Oh God, I'm doing again. Oh, so good.
That's a lovely voice. That's a lovely voice. It would be extremely painful for you.
Oops, I did it again. Right in my pen. So it feels so good.
That's a lovely voice.
What you got? Good job. Comedy comes in threes.
So,
oh my God, the Gunn.
What did you think of my
Liked
new
it.
hit? Do you think they'll be bumping in Brooklyn over that shit, yo?
You got that right.
Well, I very much appreciate you having me on to drop my new hip-hopidist persona.
So great.
You see, what I've decided to do is deconstruct the entire genre, because most of my material is too smart. It's too smart. So I have to pull things out again, yes, and redesign.
A lot of hip-hop is very smart, though. So you fit right in. A lot of hip-hop is very smart. It's poetry set to music. You did a beautiful job.
Indeed.
You really is. You did a beautiful job.
So goodbye, comedy. Hello, musical success, yo. I thank you for having me on again.
Well, we'll look forward to your next hit. And maybe you can collaborate with some other artists.
Yeah, it's time to get the fuck out of here, Bane. So
Maybe,
thank you. We have another part of the show.
Well, those are fighting words, sir. Don't say it.
Listen, dude, we're glad we could have you on, and we appreciate all your help.
Well, don't be so pushy. I like Bane.
We gotta move on. We gotta fucking.
He's excited. It's his new life. He's ready
It's
to share it.
PME, folks. Check it out on the interwebs. And it'll be the next big hit on your favorite.
So
Request it on your radio show.
Right. I was going to say, where are you?
Go. Say,
where can
play PME by T-Bane.
So where can we find this music?
it will be dropping right here on ThatManOnFatman.com at some point in the future.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
And I appreciate that.
And we will.
All right, Bane. Thank you very much.
And we will. Yes.
Where's the hook?
I know.
All right, enough of him. Time to move on.
He's just excited.
Yeah, he had a good week.
He'll have his own podcast soon.
Yeah, next thing you know.
It's called... Actually, yes, it's called Gotham's Reckoning. It'll be debuting in a month or two. I'm bringing the podcasting as well as hip-hop and comedy. I am a man of many skills. I'm a Renaissance man who's too smart.
Way too smart.
All right, get the fuck out of here, babe.
Thank
you.
for
We're
coming.
moving on now. We're going to
Bane.
finally introduce
That was
this.
a lot of fun, though.
Yes,
Thanks,
it was. I didn't. Hey, as podcasters, content is content.
Right.
Even if it's Bane.
And music is very important to our show.
He's crazy. He's a psycho.
Yeah, but he's trying to find his way, like Kevin always says.
Hey, at least he's openly bi, or whatever he calls himself. He says he has no limits. Oh, wow. That was too easy.
He has a little scary side to him, though.
All right. Speaking of science fiction and comic books and all that good stuff.
Oh, I love it.
I can't tell you how thrilled I am to have in the house. Well, actually, forgive me, not in the house. Via Skype. And again, I think we said this a few weeks ago when we had another interview via Skype. The Skype app is now on people's phones. So, it's instinct that they're just going to use their phone for interviews.
Right,
So,
which is fine.
Yeah, it is fine. It's just we're going to have more phone level quality interviews.
And we've prepared our equipment and all that, so you should get a very good quality.
Yeah. In time, I'm sure we'll tweak it some more. I learned some lessons this time, and but it's becoming more and more popular.
Right.
And I'm just an audio freak that way, and so I just want to give you guys a heads up that this is a phone interview, so that will be the general quality.
Right.
But it's a great interview. It's a lot of fun.
Oh my god. So much heart, and so.
I mean, I love that movie. So this was easy. That's the truth. I love that movie. This was easy. Ultimately, so grateful we had Michael Rooker on, and we sort of kind of discovered that I guess we did something good when we had Rooker on, and that we had a good interview because it alludes to that Mr. Gunn alludes to it's not that easy.
Right. Speaking of Rooker, I have to
Mr.
interrupt. Rooker. Michael Rooker, if you guys, this is a Kevin Smith show. If you follow Kevin Smith fans on Facebook, there's a video of Rooker just showing up at the Marvel Studios.
Good
like in full makeup, not fully done, but he's got
yesterday or
and
Thursday
he's got
morning
the
or something.
Fin, the fin
he goes,
of Destiny. I'm like, oh my god, this fin.
He goes into essentially the Marvel offices,
and he just says hey to everybody.
And he's fully dressed as Yondu.
And he just walks saying hello.
And he's got his phone and he's filming the whole thing.
And then he went through the different
cool
characters, like Iron Man.
Yeah, the cool thing is you get
Spider-Man.
to see what Marvel is to work
and
at.
You get
their office space.
Oh my god! And that
lots
was
of toys.
A lot of it, he was dressed, and he's showing us this background. And
all right, but we're getting way off.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Well,
but
actually,
check
they
it out.
are buddies. This is in truth.
They are buddies. So check it out.
You'll
check
find
out the
they're
video, and it's very cool. So you'll find it on Facebook. It's just all over the place. Anyway, I apologize.
Okay.
Michael Rooker is amazing.
Now, just a brief. So this interview was done on the 6th of September. Now, I sent a note to Kevin a few days before that saying, I'm so excited. And I was essentially thanking him, saying, without you, none of this would happen, but I just wanted to drop a line because I know Kevin loves Guardians. He's talked about it on several shows.
My God,
he just loves it. He's videotaped himself crying in front of it. And James Gunn has liked those tweets and stuff.
Yeah, he lives for making Kevin cry. It's so funny.
But strangely, on the 5th, someone tweeted something out about watching the scene where
when Sean Gunn.
At the end at the Ravager funeral.
Yes.
Yeah, when he gets all excited. And Kevin tweeted that out. I love Sean Gunn, and I love... Now, I can only surmise that he did read my email prior to this.
Oh, yeah.
So...
It's a possibility.
It's a big
strong possibility.
That there's some connection to his tweets about Sean Gunn on the 5th and the fact that we knew we were going to be interviewing him on the 6th. Maybe I'm completely daft.
But
it certainly helped my enthusiasm towards the whole project.
And talking about enthusiasm, like Sean Gunn.
And I get to tell him about it because Sean Gunn hadn't seen those tweets.
Oh, he had.
I'm blowing too much on the interview already.
No, but it's okay. But because Sean Gunn he is like, wow.
He's a cool dude.
Enthusiasm personified over like what in the movie. He's just he's so excited to be who he is in that movie.
I enjoyed his performance in the movie. I enjoyed doing this interview with the guy. He seems like just a cool guy, down to the earth, and
so down to earth,
like probably most people are.
Yeah.
And what I like best is, I toot my own horn, and it's not like I set out to do this, but he gave us he gave me a nice compliment at the end, which made me feel good.
I know.
So
we won't tell you what it is.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
You'll also find that there's a mistake in here.
Ooh.
There's a mistake and it's funny because I couldn't remember where the reference was from at the time. Because he talks about, now anyone who's already listened to the show so far knows, he talked about comedy coming in threes. And I remember hearing that somewhere very recently.
Yeah.
But I couldn't pin it down, but I thought it might have been Guardians 2, but it wasn't. And then I thought it might have been, what did I say?
Doctor Strange. But I was thinking, well, why the hell would... Right.
Because I remember it having something to do with like a dreamlike state.
Right. But then Sean Gunn...
But then I realized, and he thought so too.
And he agreed.
Yeah, he got sucked into my delusion.
See?
But in fact, there was something about dreams because it was from Rick and Morty. It was from the Dream Inception episode.
Everything goes back to Rick and Morty.
Yes, everything goes back to Rick and Morty. And I bet your ass Sean Gunn saw that episode too.
Oh, fucking
And was also going, yeah.
Maybe he realized it too.
Well, I sent him a text.
Oh, you did?
Just saying, that was Rick and Morty. He never responded, but he didn't need to.
See, and now
we'll hear it now.
I wouldn't expect them to.
I wouldn't either. It was more like, hey, thank you for today, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, I figured out what that poll was.
Right. To just throw this out there, I've sent Amber Rose messages and never got anything back. I mean, I'm never expecting anything.
Exactly.
But
they got too much going on. They got people ordering in
But
their
also,
lives
they don't
and
block
lots of
me
work
either,
and
which
blah,
is
blah,
very
blah.
good.
Yes, that's true. And thank God you weren't blocked for this guest.
I was not, but I was welcomed with open arms.
Yeah,
People are so
This
amazing.
took a little while. It took a little while, but really, I mean, I say it before. I think a lot of this hinges and is only because we did have a good interview with Michael Rooker,
right?
And he didn't either A, said something good about us, or B, didn't say anything bad about us,
right?
And so therefore,
well, and I'm not going to spoil because I can't spoil who I talked to, whatever.
No.
But I'm telling you, it did take a little bit of work to get this guy.
And incidentally, we're also trying to get Mr. Rooker back.
Yeah. Oh, but you'll
But it's
listen.
a whole different ballgame now.
And
we'll talk about that another time.
There's a conversation in the interview about that.
Yeah, and Guardians 2 changes everything. Yeah. I know. So, all right. Without any further ado, I'm so excited to finally be able to deliver this interview to y'all. Here he is, Mr. Sean Gunn.
And now, here's our guest.
All right, everybody. I am so thrilled at this time to bring in a guest who, I just can't believe that we've managed to get this person on the show. I'm very thrilled. You will know him as his character as Kraglin from the movie Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. He's also Rocket. That's right. He's the on-set Rocket. And I have so many questions. And Kevin Smith is a huge fan of this man, and yesterday tweeted out a whole bunch of stuff about Mr. Sean Gunn, and I'm so happy to have you on the show. Welcome to the show, Mr. Sean Gunn.
Thank you very much. I've never met Kevin in person. We've done a couple of cons that we've both been together, and I'm friends with the guys on Comic Book Men. But the next time I see him, I have to give him a big hug because he's been very generous with his compliments.
yesterday, did you see the tweet he put out about how?
No. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
Oh, yesterday he put out a big tweet. He retweeted what a fan said, how essentially we can't stop crying at the end of the movie when, your character, does, it's just so upset, with the fireworks and everything, and you're just so moved.
Oh.
And I'm moved. Let me tell you something. I've had this habit of going to, I love superhero movies. Obviously, I'm a fanboy. But with your movie, with Volume 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, like you've reached this point where I can't go to them anymore because I'm a basket case at the fucking end. I'm just, and yours was particularly, I was hot tears were pouring down my face when Yondu, dies. Spoilers out there, folks. But I mean, the Guardians franchise has become, for me, the ultimate franchise in the Marvel galaxy. I've been saying it replaces the need for a Fantastic Four. No offense to Fantastic Four, because it covers all those bases, the family dynamics and all that stuff. And your character, both as Rocket, but now even your Kraglin is becoming more a part of that family. And it's just amazing. I end up in tears at the end of that movie, no matter. And I've seen it several times, and I have to leave the room at certain points because it's too much. So there you go. This is going to be a dick sucking for you.
Well, I appreciate that. I like making grown men cry. That's,
and a lot of them.
That's part of my job, I guess. I honestly, I don't know. I'm really grateful for the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole experience has been amazing, and I've been acting a long time, so to find myself to kind of stumble into such a great franchise, and not just be working with my brother, but also with all these other great people, and to be part of the whole thing is pretty great. It's not anything I would have ever imagined, or you can never guess where your career is going to head, but it's I'm certainly very very.
You deserve every bit of it. Every bit
of all of it. Well, and it's both. It's luck and opportunity and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
It's grabbing it with both hands, which is obvious both you and your brother did. Because here was a franchise that was so untapped. I remember when they announced it. No offense, your comic book men friends. I remember Walter, because he had a podcast back then, was like, Guardians of the Galaxy? And I'm so glad I had a podcast back then too, because I was like, you watch, this is going to be a sleeper hit. Because, I don't know, the trauma background, there's just so much that I thought, I just knew that you guys were going to pull it off, and you did.
Oh, that's good that you called it.
Yes.
I say that too. I mean, I think that I think very few people were as confident about the success of the movie as I was, because I knew, and I didn't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy. I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
But I knew how good the script was, and I knew, I've worked with my brother my whole life, and so just reading the material, I knew, oh wow, he is really cut out for this. This is really a perfect vehicle for all his best storytelling abilities. Yeah. And then reading the script and knowing how strong it was, I was just like, this movie's going to be good. I didn't know, of course, that it was going to be quite as big of a hit as it was, but I was like, it'll find its audience. People will like it, and it'll be, at the very least, I thought it would be, a nice sort of niche hit or something like that. And so I felt pretty confident. And then by the time the movie rolled around, by the time it got close to coming out, I think we knew by that point how well it was testing and how well audiences were responding, and it seemed pretty clear that it was going to be a big hit.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. The first one was just so much fun. And yes, it had the emotional, like the anchoring of the mom at the beginning, and then to pay it off at the end with that emotional, like, oh my God, you're flashing me back. That's just brilliant storytelling, and it's amazing. And that's another thing that makes me shed a tear every time. That take my hand.
Yeah,
it's amazing. And what do you have? As I said to my wife the other day, and what do you got? You got a raccoon, a tree, a green lady. It shouldn't work, but it does. It's so brilliant. Also, here's another thing about the second movie. The second movie, like one of my a friend of ours, Indy Mac user, he's in England. He put out a review for it, and I love what he said, because he said, whatever you think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is, you're wrong, because they got to see it like a week early or whatever in England. But and he was so right about that. And there was aspects in that, like, for instance, the relationship between the sisters is essentially a relationship of an abused family. Two girls who were abused by a father at its core. And that's so, like, stands out, like, heavy. Like, the emotion of that, all the space stuff goes away, and you are just like in a real emotional core of these characters at so many points in that movie. It's just amazing. It's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's the thing between Gamora and Nebula, where she says, you're the one who wanted to win. I just wanted a sister. That's what gets me every time. That's the part that made me choke up the first time I saw the movie.
Yeah, that interrelationship, because it is. It's a relationship of abuse. It's an abusive triad. So and that's very heavy. That transcends all the sci-fi elements and all the and same thing with Rocket and Yondu. That we are the same guy. That cuts deep. And anyone who's had a bad father, Yondu just like pays off and says everything you've wanted the bad father to ever say to you. So it's just an amazing movie.
Thanks.
And I think that might be part of the reason that we were able to get you on the show, because we did have your captain on a while back, and it was a great interview. And what I loved about when we had him on, Mr. Rooker, I'm sorry, is like, because we're Kevin Smith based, we kind of wanted to talk about mall rats and that kind of crap. And you can actually kind of hear him downshift at the beginning of the interview, to be like, oh, what, we're going to talk about comedy? What, huh? So, and now for him to have gone full circle to now be the man who says, I am Mary Poppins, y'all, is just amazing.
If you get a good interview out of Rooker, then you're a step ahead of the game, because that's kind of like herding cats, It's,
it was amazing. It was amazing.
He can be a bit of a handful.
He was very gracious to us. Maybe because we were focusing on comedy, and he doesn't get to play in that, that realm as much. And we also, don't get me wrong, I went right into Henry. I wanted to know about Portrait of a Serial Killer for sure. But yes, I'm sorry. So first question. So you have not met Kevin. Would you be in, he's doing a Jay and Silent Bob rebooted. Would you be in that movie if he asked you to?
I don't know. I would. I certainly. I've met Jason Hughes many times. I like him. He's a great guy. I think.
Come on, say you'd consider it so I could make news.
I'm pretty busy, but I will tell you that if Kevin Smith, if I'll pick up the phone if he calls.
Oh so my God! There you go.
Sure, I'm interested. It's funny in the.
It's really clear he loves you. That's for sure. I've loved you since you said, boss is going to teach stuff. That's where you got me. I was on. Whoever this guy is, I love him. I didn't know anything about you yet.
Well, it's funny. Like I've been acting professionally for over 20 years, or just almost exactly 20 years actually, and it's nice to be a point in my career where people are even asking, would you do this movie or this one? It's like,
Well,
I
Gilmore
spent so
Girls
much
was
time being like, I'll do any movie people want to cast me.
There you go. There you go.
But
Gilmore
now I'm
Girls is
finally-
not my demo. That's all. I mean,
No, that's fine.
But you know,
That's
I
fine.
have since gone back and heard, like, my wife, who set all this up, like, she has friends at work, and that was their touch point. Like, oh my God, that's the guy from the Gilmore Girls. So they were all thrilled.
Dude, the Gilmore Girls fans are insane.
I believe that.
They're rabid. It's amazing how a show that's not like a sci-fi or fantasy type show or whatever, where I'll go to conventions and it's Gilmore Girls fans are almost like Doctor Who fans or Star Trek fans or something, where
Of
they have
course.
there's this like insular Gilmore fan community that is it's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a lot of girls. That's always good.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why the Beatles got into show business, I believe.
Plenty reason for me.
Yes. So you would. Well, there you go. I might have a little news there. Let me look at my notes. So in putting Rocket together, now traditionally, usually animation or whatever, what happens is you have the guy come in and do the voice stuff first. But I don't think that would make sense in the process of putting Rocket together as a character. So how did that work?
Not at all.
Yeah. So did you do the original dialogue and then he kind of mimic you, or was it whatever?
Well, he doesn't. Here's how it works. Okay, I can think about Rocket is that we use a process to create Rocket that that no one else has used or is using to do any other similar type character. We use our own sort of system,
Gotcha.
And it came about because my brother knew going into the first movie. My brother James, of course.
Yes. Yes.
Which I don't think I mentioned.
The
his name,
director.
The director of Guardian
Yes.
1 and 2. That he knew going into the first movie that a lot of the success of the film would hinge on whether or not Rocket worked. I know he said from the very beginning, if Rocket looks fake or stupid, this movie's going to bomb. And so he knew that he wanted. He was very. He had a heck of a lot of focus on making Rocket look as realistic as possible.
Yeah, and hair is notoriously bad in CG.
Yeah,
it's hard to do.
And he did not want actors looking at you've got this pivotal character in the movie,
yeah,
and he didn't want actors looking at a blank space or a tennis ball on a stick or a little light or any of those things. He really wanted to make it as realistic as it could possibly be.
Incidentally, two main characters are CG, because not just Rocket, but also Groot.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Groot is too. Yeah.
So make it twice as hard.
So he asked me, I know he trusts me a lot. I think he and I have a great working relationship. I tend to know what he's looking for a lot of the times, and he can
your brothers.
generally get out of me what he needs. We've been working together since we were kids.
Yeah, your brothers.
And so he asked me to do. He said, "I would love you to come and read Rocket, but we didn't. But I don't even know exactly what that means yet." He said, "I don't know if that means you'll be doing dialogue from just beyond the camera, or if we're going to find a way, that talks about different methods." There was a ridiculous method where we had a little person who had a speaker that I was speaking out of that was
for eyeline and stuff.
And it was really weird and didn't work. And at this point, no actor had been cast to play the role of Rocket to do his voice yet.
Gotcha.
And that wouldn't happen until much later in the process.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper wasn't cast until the movie was 2/3 of the way in the can, or after even.
So then that means the plan was already to sort of voice over whatever had already been done, in a sense.
Yeah.
So the plan was already that whatever the final voice would be, it's going to be done in ADR or whatever.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. And so I got to set, a week before, right around the time we started, when we go to do a couple of weeks of rehearsal for the first movie, which is a luxury to have 2 weeks of rehearsal on it. It's one of the luxuries of working on a big budget movie.
Yeah.
But I got there and we did the table read. I read Rocket in the table read, and then we started rehearsing the first scene. And I was like, how tall is Rocket? And they showed me, and I just got down and started doing it. I basically got down on my hands and knees. I sit in essentially a squat position, and I move from there. And when I work as Rocket, my goal is always to keep my eyes where Rocket's eyes would be. So whatever I have to do
for an eye line,
move my body accordingly. Yeah, so that
the actors have something else to look at
for acting.
Yeah,
so that when they're looking at eyes, they're looking at eyes,
as opposed to
when
a tennis ball.
I do a voice and I do everything, and we play the scene that way.
But what I'm really
happens,
hearing is, if you don't mind me saying this, is it sounds like that right from. I mean, if you're doing a table read, you're really starting to make choices. You're adding emotional beats to that character that aren't necessarily on the page, So,
I certainly am.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to diminish for a second what Bradley Cooper does.
No. I don't want to do that either. But what I'm saying is, you really are vesting, emotionality into this character.
Well, after we shoot it, the visual effects team then uses my body movements and my face as a visual reference for starting to animate the character. They don't use everything I do; they can always change it. But it serves as a starting off point, so you can tell when Rocket is shrugging or moving his hands or what he's doing with his face. If he's looking somewhere other than where other than where any of the other actors are looking, the animation team doesn't have to guess that stuff.
And
they
because
can use
he's keyframe technically. I mean, because they couldn't necessarily sync up such a character. But I get the fact that they're filming your face and they're filming Bradley's face and keying emotionality off of that and putting it into the character digitally.
Because what I do from a performance perspective, at least like with my voice and with lines and things like that, I'm really doing that to get things from the other actors and to be there for them. It's more of in support of them. Because then after they start to put it all together, then they extract my voice. So that by the time, from what I understand, by the time Bradley gets in the booth, what he's got is then, he's got a sort of a rough draft of how the character is moving and the way the other actors are acting. But then he can do whatever he wants within that framework.
Yeah.
So his parameters are maybe a little narrower than they would be based on some of the stuff that I've done, but he's still creatively filling in those gaps.
Oh yeah.
So at the end of the day, I think that really the way I look at it is that it takes a team of people to create Rocket.
Oh, most definitely.
And I'm just one member of that team, but
and a good member.
But it's been an interesting thing. I mean, I think when we started, it was mostly for the other actors and less for the visual effects team. And then they found, within the first few weeks of shooting, hey, we really like having an actor so that we can see what he's doing. Yeah. We don't have to guess. And so then on the second movie, they used me for reference even more. So there were even a higher percentage of shots. In the first movie, there were a bunch of action shots and stuff that I just wouldn't do. I just wouldn't be there for. But in the second movie, they were like, "No, we'd like you to do it." Like Rocket shooting the guns in the come a little bit closer scene and some other things where like he doesn't have dialogue, but I was still on set doing.
So were you actually scurrying through the trees?
I did a little bit of that. Yeah, I would do.
That was awesome, regardless who did it.
Like, obviously, I can't do the wide shot jumps.
Yeah.
But whenever they cut to a close up of Rocket doing something, I'm generally always going to be doing that stuff.
That's so cool.
And so then last year at Comic-Con...
If I could just interrupt for a second, because Brian
go ahead.
O'Halloran from Clerks and Clerks 2 called you the American Gollum, so just so you know.
I like that. I like Brian. He's a great guy.
He is a good guy. He's actually, hey, they're roasting him tonight in New Jersey.
Oh,
here.
they are?
Yeah.
That sounds easy.
Yes, yeah. And it will be the comic book men who are essentially roasting him.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, Ming Chen is a very close friend of mine.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a fun guy to kick around, too. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so...
Sorry to interrupt.
So no, that's fine. It's fine. I'm just, the end of that story is that then at Comic-Con last year, at San Diego, Kevin Feige came and talked to me and said, "Hey, man, we've got these Avengers movies coming up, and and we really, he's like, we really need you to do Rocket." And so I'm like, okay, of course I'm in. But it's been a funny experience. So now I've been working for the better part of the year on those movies, and it's cool to now be on my fourth movie as Rocket for a character that I didn't even really, I never would have thought that I'd be going and doing stuff like that. I've only ever been on camera in my career or on stage. So being this character, and then
it's like a new field.
Really,
you are sort of, you're helping to break into a new kind of field, which is the
It's really fascinating work.
Yeah,
I mean, it's interesting how the whole thing. It's interesting how it all sort of plays out.
Really, I'm a geek and I'm a film geek and I'm the guy who watches all those behind the scenes stuff of, say, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and to see like the way they did it in The Hobbit, wherein you had this poor actor isolated in a green room, looking at lights and tennis balls, so they can morph that with a whole other room where everything is synced up in 3D and the movements are moving. It really has become like NASA.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a NASA environment. You have computers everywhere. Everything is synced. It's crazy. It's space shots.
Yeah.
So film has come a long way, and you are on the cutting edge.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I can't talk very much at all about anything we've shot on Avengers, but I can say in a very general sense, sometimes it's crazy how many different types of characters we have. There'll be different CGI characters that have different methods in how they're created.
Does Kraglin make it into Infinity Wars at all?
All I've been authorized to say is that I've been working as what I do for Rocket. I've been doing.
Okay.
I've been doing again on Infinity War. I can tell you, I wouldn't be able to comment on that either way.
Okay.
Yes
So,
or no, I would have to
for
say
fans
no
for fans of Kraglin, there may be some hope there. Is what I'm hearing.
I would not say that.
Okay.
I can only. I really believe me.
Well, I love that character. I love that character.
I appreciate that.
And now, I mean, I've looked into it a little bit, and it seems you and the writer are credited as the creators of Kraglin. How does that feel to be a Marvel character creator?
Where does it say that?
In the Marvel, I was looking at a Marvel database online.
Really?
Yeah, in a Marvel database, you're now sort of credited as part creator of that character.
I'm very flattered by it.
Yes, you're co-creator of your character in the Marvel universe.
Wow.
So how did that?
Well,
I mean, obviously, it was like, did your brother say, "Oh, I'm going to also have you play one of the first mate"?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly that. He even called him the first mate.
Oh,
so,
cool!
At that time, I didn't know. He said, "I think I'm going to give him a name."
Did you know it was Michael Rooker? Yeah. That would be your captain?
Yeah, I knew it was Rooker.
Because they worked together before.
I've known Rooker a long time.
Yeah. Well, he was in Slither, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, and so I met him. He became friends with Bane through Slither, and then he would. So I met him through that, and then I used to host. James and I used to co-host these parties at my old house in Silver Lake on Sunday nights, called Sunset Sunday, and we did that for a couple of years. Most Sundays we would have these parties, and if the sun went down on Sunday evening on my deck, and Rooker was a mainstay at those gatherings.
That sounds awesome.
that was about at probably, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. A lot of good memories from that time.
So what was it like working with him on set there in such a crazy environment? And how did he put up with all the makeup and all that?
Rooker's a champion about makeup. He really is. Like, I think it was one of the things that made a big impression on my brother just from Slither, is that he had days on Slither, they didn't have the resources to have the kind of makeup team, obviously, the Guardians have. And I think he had some days on Slither where he'd be in makeup for 8+ hours.
Yeah.
And it was brutal. And he wouldn't be able to eat or drink or, all these things. And he just never complained about it.
Yeah, he talked a little bit about it when we had him on.
And I think that was something. But it's a good, I think it's something, it's this like old school showbiz aesthetic of the show must go on. You got to do it. You agreed to do it. You have to get what you're trying to get. And I know that made a big impression on my brother, and they became friends anyway. But he also knew through that, God, I can count on this guy to do anything. Yeah. And Yondu, he never complains about the Yondu makeup. He's like, oh, it's not too bad. He's like, a couple hours.
He's got to be blue.
And they do it, and he doesn't complain, even though that can't be easy to do that every single day.
Yeah.
But also, some actors have it worse.
Yeah, I was going to say.
like Gilmmore's got it worse. Nebula's got it worse than them, and Drax has it the worst of everybody. Yeah. So it's like they, depending on how you look at it, they all. It's a lot of commitment for a lot of those actors, and Palm now too.
But the script, the way they use Drax in Volume 2 is amazing.
It's awesome. Isn't he great?
He's amazing.
His story to me that's about one of my favorite things of the whole, the whole thing of making the movies, seeing how great Bautista is, and to see him grow as an actor. I was there for his first kind of work through before he went to, before he screen tested. Because I was there.
Just for a second, Kevin Smith was on Jericho, who's a big wrestler, and his reaction was, "Who'd have thought he could act? I've known the guy for years. I didn't know he could act."
Yeah.
So.
No kidding. Although, you know what's funny? So people say that, and I'm like, what? Wrestling is acting.
Exactly. What else is it?
Those guys are actors.
It's very physical.
I mean, I'm surprised by how good he is, though. That's for sure. But so I saw his whole journey. I saw him audition, and I saw how much he wanted the role, and how happy he was. I know he cried when he heard he got it, and like he beat out so many. He beat out so many good actors. He got it. No matter what anyone's ever read to the contrary, he was the number one choice for that role. Wow. By the time he got it,
because it's about chemistry.
He beat out every other actor for that role.
I understand, but I've played in bands, and that's the best way to kind of like. Every band, like, look at REM. Once the drummer left, everybody discounts a drummer, but once the drummer left, that band never had the same chemistry. It was never the same. They never had the hits, and eventually they retired. So, acting, all that stuff, interacting with people, it requires that chemistry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's such a good guy. They really. It's such a great group of people to work with. It's nice to be able to talk about kind of more famous Hollywood actors and not have to bullshit, not have to be like, not to just like throw the party line and be like, oh yeah, of course she's a wonderful, and sort of keeping a lot of the keeping to yourself what you shouldn't say in interviews. But the truth is that all of those people, Dave Bautista, Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Karen Gillan, Rooker, Tom Clementius, I mean, everybody, they're awesome. And they're really
I was going to say,
lovely
Chris
people
Pratt
to
is
go to
like a
work with every day.
superstar. And so is Zoe. I mean, she's in Star Trek. She's in all this great stuff. She's amazing, too. I mean, you work with some class acts.
Yeah, it's cool. And now in Avengers, good Lord.
Oh, my God, yes. And so, no, but hang on. So you know your second mate. Did you work on, like, I'm just going to be like, did you develop that character, or how did that work?
Yeah. I mean,
you just kind of knew he was going to be a flunky?
All he told me was, I knew what I had in the script. And so I knew that he had a handful of lines here and there. I knew we were going to play with stuff.
Captain's going to teach stuff, I'm pretty sure, is your first line in the movie. If it's not, man, like, that's the line to me that just says, I mean, it tells you everything about your character.
But it's not my first line in the movie, but it's certainly by far the most memorable.
Yeah, it says almost everything about your character right there. It's like, I'm a loyal flunky, and I'm not all that bright.
You know what's funny is that we actually experimented with that throughout the film. So there was a lot of times when Rooker would say something, and it would be a call and response, where I would then repeat what he just said. But they ended up not using it for time purposes and just because they didn't all work, and so it wasn't.
Yeah.
You really need three good ones for a comedy beat.
That's right.
For a comedy beat to work, you need at least three strong ones. And so
that's actually in the second movie, isn't it? Isn't there a point where someone says, like, blah, 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 and you need three beats for comedy or something like that in the delivery? I can't remember where I remember that from something.
I don't know.
It's got to be from Guardians, because where else would that be from?
Well,
oh, no, actually, you know what? You know what it was from? It may have been from, what's his name? It may have been from Doctor Strange. Maybe.
Oh, right.
Because I watched that recently, too.
Oh, it is from Doctor Strange.
Is it?
It is from Doctor Strange. I think that's,
Yeah, because it's like...
I think you're right, though.
Because I recently...
I think you're right towards the end of it. And
what these two gentlemen are trying to remember is a segment from Rick and Morty, the first episode of the third season. Here it is.
Okay, have fun in what's left of my brain. I'm going to transfer to yours. Oh, there's not enough room for all my genius, so I'm leaving you with my fear of wicker furniture, my desire to play the trumpet, my tentative plans to purchase a hat, and 6 years of improv workshops. Comedy comes in threes.
It's a trap! Abort! We never left it!
All right, we want to take a moment to talk about Death Wish Coffee. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and get over to deathwishcoffee.com. And there you can buy the strongest coffee known to man without a prescription.
The world's strongest coffee ever.
Yes, as proudly displayed on my wife's sweatshirt over there.
Yes, on my body, on my mug,
yes,
on my K-cups.
Yes, and you'll know them by their telling sign of the skull and crossbones that tells you
good.
Exactly what you're in for. It's that used to be the international symbol for poison, but now it is the symbol for good damn coffee.
It's awesome. Without milk, with milk, you don't really need it because it's strong.
But not bitter?
Not bitter. So you don't even need milk. You don't even need sugar, but you can add it if you'd like. It's just really, really the perfect, strongest, most awesome coffee.
Become a junkie of Death Wish, just like the Anderson Council. And
we got him hooked.
Again, deathwishcoffee.com. Thank you very much.
Enjoy it.
I want to take this time to mention to you www.audibletrial.com. .com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's right, www.audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's one word, conjunctified. Go there, sign up for your free 30-day free trial. Sign up, get a free book, a free audio book, because you don't have to go through no tedious reading. You don't have to turn no fucking pages. You don't have to do any of that bullshit. You get in your car, you put on your headphones, and you are listening to a book. You're taking a magical journey into a fictitious land. You're expanding your mind, all when you're stuck in traffic. Fucking amazing. Audiobooks. These are the wave of the future. And you can get in for free for 30 days. A free trial. And when you get your free trial, you can download a copy of Tough Shit by our Savior, Kevin Smith. That's right. Our Lord and Savior, Kevin Smith, has left words for us to follow in our lives, and we can get it for free just by signing up to audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's right. audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. Thank you. Please sign up. You'll be very happy you did.
I have to say, I did like almost all I made it all the way through phase 2 of the Marvel movies in a row just to kind of feel the vibe.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts. But I wanted to try it. I mean, I went through them all at the time,
awesome.
so.
That's wild. In any event, the only one that ended up staying in the movie was the one that really worked. And the Captain Scott Keith stuff. And that's great. I mean, that's how editing is. I mean, I didn't really know exactly who Kraglin was until the first movie came out, because we played with so many different things that you don't know in the edit where it's going to land. And in a lot of takes, I played Kraglin much more almost like a maniac, like he was a little bit of
a Ravager,
like he was a little bit nuts.
Yeah.
And it just turned out that just didn't work.
Yeah,
you know, and we had enough of the rest of it to be like, this guy's more of a soldier.
He's a mush, too. Yeah.
He's tough, but he's almost there's almost a little bit of a sweetness to him.
Shit, he was damn conflicted in the second one.
We had done, by that point, my brother and I had talked a little bit about backstory, and then I knew, because in the second movie he has an arc, so that's much more.
Yeah.
Then you can't vary around, you can't play around quite as much. You need to
But he's there in all the right moments too. That's the thing I like about that. He's there at all the right moments, either to sort of give you an emotional resonance, or to actually back it down a little and say, "Oh, we're getting too intense here. Let's take it down a comedy beat." You know, so right. Like there was a cut scene that I wish they didn't cut, which was you explaining the frickin' not the iPod. I'm sorry. What was it? It was the Zune. The Zune. Oh my God! What a great pull, by the way. Explaining the Zune to him. That is some brilliant stuff where you guys do that.
I have never seen that scene. I remember shooting it, but I haven't seen it. I just moved into this house here, and I don't have.
It's in the outtakes. I got it digitally.
The Blu-ray player up last night, so maybe I'll check it out after I get off the phone with you here.
It's even on the digital stuff because I got it from Amazon, so it's on their bonus footage. So yeah, and it's a great scene. I love that, and it's funny because we just watched Defenders, and I have a friend who works on the Marvel Netflix stuff. He's a set dresser. So we have him on and talk about the show, you know, after they finally air. And that was the one thing we did sort of notice about the Defenders as opposed to the rest of the Marvel Netflix shows. It had some more of that humor that was in Guardians that, you know, just felt like that. And so it felt more like it was a Marvel Universe joined product a little more, the Defenders did, than... Because I had that same sort of sense of humor that you guys put in. Like, oh, what was it? That's my favorite knife.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that kind of stuff where it's just like, where did that come from? And why did they put that in? But it's, yeah, exactly.
That, you know, I just learned, because a lot of those funniest lines, most of the funniest lines that are improvised, like that one, are actually improvised by my brother from behind the camera. So he feeds us. He feeds us, not all of them, but
but he
feeds us lines to say, like That Was My Favorite Night was his. Captain's Gotta Teach Stuff was his. Mary Poppins was his. Those are all lines he comes up with. But he just told me that he has a script of alternate lines with him. So some of those are only new to us when we're in the moment.
Gotcha.
He's been thinking about them. He's a maniac when it comes to preparation.
Gotcha.
So he's been thinking about them already, and he'll have a list of like possible alternate lines that he throws at us in the moment.
Is he a drummer? Is your brother a drummer? Is he a drummer?
A drummer?
Yeah, because he's a drummer in the video you guys made.
Oh gosh, no.
Okay, so he doesn't play drums.
Thank God he wasn't a drummer. I didn't want a brother who was a drummer growing up.
I have a theory that drummers make great directors because they.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because I'm a drummer and I direct.
Understand rhythm and taste and all that.
Yeah, and you can't play alone. Nobody. I mean, when you play alone, no one wants to hear you. So you have to learn to play with other people. So in general, I think drummers make good directors.
Interesting.
Just look at Dave Grohl. His first documentary was awesome.
Now, is that borne out by truth? Who's that true about?
Dave Grohl, I can point to. His first documentary was awesome. Sound City.
Okay.
I'm also a documentary filmmaker and a director, so I'll say me.
Oh, I got it. I see.
Of course, yes, it is a self-influenced theory.
Enjoy talking to you. I do have to get going, but anytime, I particularly enjoy interviews like this when we can just kind of talk about whatever strikes us, and I don't have to feed you the line of I'm glad you didn't ask me what's Chris Pratt like in real life.
Please no. I'm sure he's a good guy.
The answer is that he smells like victory.
Yeah, like victory.
No, I appreciate talking to you.
I appreciate you coming on, and I'm so honored to have you on. And when Kevin hears about this, Kevin kind of knows. I sent him an email, and that may have been why he tweeted that out yesterday. I don't know. I'd like to think so. But, yeah.
I love it. I'm going to give
appreciate
Kevin
it.
a big kiss when I see him.
Thank you. And give him one for me, too.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, man. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Oh, my God, everybody. That's right. Sean Gunn! Woohoo! Yay! I can't even find my applause. Here they come. So thrilled. Totally thrilled. What an amazing interview, yo. Did you like the interview there?
Oh, my God, I loved it.
Sean Gunn was an amazing guest.
Yeah. I was
so
not
glad
there.
he was here.
But, wow.
Yeah. Totally amazing guy.
Kind of covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was very excited. There's a lot of dick sucking
good.
going on.
Oh, my God.
But, yeah, I enjoyed the fact that he complimented saying, thank you for not making this a Chris Pratt what's Chris Pratt really like
I don't
interview?
want to suck his cock. I want you to suck mine.
You're not talking to the mic there, sweetie.
Basically, he said, I don't want you to suck his cock. I want you to suck my cock.
No, I think it was more like,
I know.
I'm glad you weren't there.
Well, yeah, because that would
you would have been like, what's Chris Pratt like?
It would have been more than that. It would have been
Does he look good naked?
Oh my
Can
God.
you sharpen the knife on his abs?
I was thinking something else, but that's all right. But yeah, Chris Pratt is beautiful. Come on. But no, that was not the point of the show.
I'm just so thrilled. It was a good interview. It was so much fun. I enjoyed talking to him. He seemed like a really cool guy.
I know.
It was just fun talking to him, and it felt like a regular conversation. There are times where I was wondering, you always second guess. Should I shut up? Should I not?
Well, it's hard.
But ultimately, I love the end product.
Right. And he talked about crafts. He talked a little bit.
Yeah. See, I don't get it. That's what I enjoy, and that's what I like talking about. Why wouldn't most interviews go there? That's what he does.
Right. And that's his, we wanted to find out more about him, and we did. Found out a whole lot.
Yes. Love to have him on again. Can't wait to have him on again.
Right.
Because he said he'd be into it. So.
Right. So if you guys are excited and want to, send us a message about your favorite part, let us know.
Yes. And, hey.
Or anything else.
feel free to pass on the show.
And
Forward
share
it
it
on
to
to somebody.
people.
Let someone know. Hey, check out this cool interview with Sean Gunn on ThatMan on Fatman. Yo.
Yeah. And you can subscribe.
Oh, speaking of which, just a quick shout out to something that's kind of offbeat. But if you're an Alexa user, if you have an Alexa, an Echo, an Amazon Echo, our podcast can be difficult to pull up because it sounds so much like another show.
Right. Gee, what could that be?
Yeah, but there's a what they call skills on Alexa. Basically,
Right.
it's an app, and it enables. This one is called AnyPod. Sorry.
Okay.
It's the AnyPod skill, and it cleans that up, and you should be able to play ThatMan on Fatman on it by saying it.
Yay.
I say you should be, but
You should be.
just be very enunciate clearly, because if Kevin dropped the show on Fatman on Batman lately, it may accidentally play that show.
It will outshine the
But
other.
here's the other thing: like it's the only way so far I've been able to get it to play on Alexa without it playing another show or going, I don't know what you're talking about. So, so shout out to the folks who program the AnyPod skill. Thank you
Right.
much, sirs. We enjoyed that. What else?
Well, we have a kind of future kind of guess, maybe kind of a little
Oh, we
spoiler.
definitely have.
Now,
this is going back to that story.
Going back to the
Yes.
Smedlines, I'd like to add a little bit. When we talked about Kevin's post talking about the ad back in 1993 when he put
The one
the ad in
we found
for
out that the
Clerks.
source.
Right, the source. Now, the place where that audition was taking place was at the First Avenue Playhouse.
Indeed.
And that is in Red Bank or Atlantic Highlands. I apologize.
And
Atlantic
anyone
Highlands.
who follows us on Instagram
Right.
can remember a couple weeks back we posted a picture
Mm-hmm.
with the folks who run that particular institution who were also in Clerks.
Right.
And they would be who, Gene?
Joe Bagnall and
And-
Donna Jean.
And Joe... sorry,
They
Joe Bagnall,
own-
they own
They own the First Avenue Playhouse.
And if you've seen Clerks, you'll know Joe Bagnall for
Oh
the
my
cat
God.
cat scene.
That's so funny.
He's the guy who has to sit there and
Right.
witness the cat.
Mhm.
And Donna Janae
I did learn that's the way.
is basically Jeff Anderson's first enemy.
Yeah.
His first test case. It's the woman who says, "Which of these are good?"
Yeah.
The one that made a cunning attempt to trick her.
Right.
To
And
trick
then,
him.
as well as in shooting
Your cunning
Clerks,
attempt.
in shooting Clerks.
Yes, and in shooting Clerks, they're in a scene together.
Yes,
and
very
they actually
cute.
have there's a little profanity in it too.
Yeah. So look for them.
Yes,
In a couple weeks.
Yeah, a lot going
They
on
were
with
a lot
shooting
of fun.
Clerks too.
They were a lot of fun. So they will be our guests in a couple weeks on the show.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
look forward to that.
we went down to the Playhouse. We
Right.
sat down. We had a great time with them. And before that, even still, we're teasing the craziness out of here. We have someone who many of you may know by the character name The Quiet Man,
Mm-hmm.
but you may also know him as Coey London,
Right.
in Chasing Amy. But affectionately, he's known to many as Cousin Johnny. And he's family of Kevin's and has been in many of the films. He assassinated Dante in the original cut and that end got cut off.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, like I said, he's Coey London. He's also in Jay and Silent Bob. He's the guy who's like, keep on trucking.
Right.
So we sit down. He actually came here, and we recorded a really great interview with him and his excellent girlfriend, which we can't say wife, even though they've been together forever.
Right.
And really, I mean, they're essentially married without being married.
Yeah. They're really funny.
A lot of fun. So that'll be next week. The week after that, then we have the Playhouse. But yeah, so we got some shows coming out for you. Some Clerks stuff, definitely more Clerks related. Back to the Kevin base for a couple weeks. All this spreading our wings into Guardians.
All
and
these like really
and
major.
Rick and Morty and all this other stuff, like Phil Henry and all that we've had on recently. We
Right.
hope you've been enjoying it.
It's been a lot of fun. And continue to give more guests. That will be a lot of fun. So.
Yeah. I posted
spoilers.
recently on Instagram that, we realized along the way that we made some missteps earlier in the year. We bit off more than we could chew, trying to do 2 podcasts equally, and then this podcast suffered. And after we stopped and said, what the hell is going on here? We realized everything flows from this show.
Right.
It's our favorite thing to do. We love the other show. That's a labor of love, and we're going to keep doing it. But if we only put out like an episode a month or whatever, that's fine.
And that's
it's not going anywhere.
And that's Tales from the Swing.
Oh, yeah. And Tales from the Swing, folks. I mean, if you haven't heard the most recent episode, it is awesome.
Try it out. It's really
very
good.
educational. We talk. We have Chemda from Keith and the Girl. I'm getting better. And Hennessy, her husband, who is transgendered, and it makes for a very educational discussion.
Yeah.
It's the best way to put it.
Right. Open your mind.
Yeah. That show is about human sexuality and sex and all that craziness. So if that's not your bag, don't go listening.
Right. Alternate relationships, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. It's sex. It's sex-based.
Right.
So that would...
So if you're into it, try it out. If not,
but that is a great show.
Sure, try it out.
That show really complements our last show with Stacey Pressman as well.
It really does.
So if you haven't heard that show, you just came in for the Sean Gunn show.
Right.
I would highly suggest you go back and listen to last week's show. That is an amazing discussion as well. I love those kind of shows.
It's a great show.
Really good conversations and that kind of thing. So check that out. What else am I missing anything? I can't believe we're done already.
I don't know. I think so.
We've moved through.
Right.
We going? We have any events we got to plug? Is anything happening? We going anywhere?
We're going to be at NY Comic Con.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes, we'll be at, like many, we will be at NYC Comic Con. And actually, thank you, NYC Comic Con. After, a few years, I think we finally built up enough street cred that we got our media passes this year.
So pretty cool.
Thank you to you folks. We will love to report on all the goings on at New York City Comic Con this year. And what's the date on it? What is it? It's October?
It starts this, I want to say
4th?
The 4th, but I will get the exact date right
It's the
now.
Thursday of that week.
Right.
So I
it
just don't have
is the October 5th through the 8th.
5th through the 8th. So there you go, folks.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Lots of craziness going on during that. I'm sure Kevin will be around too.
Kevin, Sarah, and I believe the comic book men are doing a panel.
Oh, also check out the most recent Edumacation that dropped.
Edumacation is good.
Because Andrew McElfresh put out a lot of really cool news.
Announcement, yep.
There's a book, an Edumacation book. Not to spoil. But
not spoilers.
But you can hear more of the details from there. And also he's working on a new TV show, which I won't give you any of the details of. You can find them out there.
Oh my God, that is so cool.
Yeah, and Kevin was very happy and proud of all that he was accomplishing. So, yeah. Props. And also, it seems as though after a long haul, Johanna is finally healed, or everything's to the point where she's done with any major work.
Oh my God, the poor thing.
Yeah, they tell a story about on that show about dealing with scarring of breasts
Kevin
that Kevin cannot. He's very squeamish about.
Can't
it.
Stomach
it's kind of funny. Yeah, it's really funny.
Does he feel like he's going to throw up?
Yeah, he even said, when he told them beforehand, when the mics weren't on, he was like, I felt like I was going to throw up a testicle. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Shout out to you, sir. Of late, I feel like you've just been, you've always been supportive, but I feel like I can feel it more. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
We hope we're not letting you down ever in any way.
And I'm sure we would know if we did.
Yes. We'd get a call from Jordan. It's not that it hasn't happened before. But that was more like, hey, you posted something stupid. Pull that down quick. There's copyrighted material on there. Oops. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. I didn't realize.
This is a learning experience.
Yeah, it's one day at a time. And never take pictures in the green room.
Oh my God.
Or backstage.
That's just, that was not good.
Yeah, that was a moment.
But you know what? You only have to.
We got a great story out of it.
You only have to tell us once. We listen. We're good listeners.
Yes, we try to be. That's the second part of podcasting. Being a good listener.
Yeah. What's the first part?
Talker. Being a good talker. Being able to tell a story.
Yeah.
Being able to hold an audience.
Right. So the talker is first and the listener is second.
In the palm of your vagina. Ah, damn it. I keep turning down my sounds. I don't know why I would turn the fucking fader all the way down. Maybe a hiss. All right, folks. We are going to say...
Grace, fuck me and make me forget we got a stupid kid. Coming, John.
I'm so thrilled that I did some read. I tweaked the Twitter page, but I did as the banner.
Sorry, guys.
As the banner page, I now have the Shooting Clerks shot where we're all huddled around Grace.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
I love that shot. I'm very proud of that.
She's
I'm very proud to be a part of that.
Yeah. Actually, I think I took that picture.
I think you did too, but a lot of people took that picture.
Yeah, that's mine, though.
But yours is the best.
Mine is the best. Yeah. It always is.
That's because you're smart and good.
Just like you guys.
Out there. If no one has told you.
What a coincidence. We're all smart and good.
Yes. You guys are smart and good. We hope you enjoyed this show. We were thrilled to have Mr. James Gunn on.
Yes.
Did I say James? I said his brother's name. Yeah. Mr. Sean Gunn. Sorry. It's so easy to do that, though.
James Gunn was mentioned.
Yes, he was. But it's easy to do that because, you know, they both have one-syllable names.
They all have the same
James Gunn, Sean
same
Gunn.
last name.
Yeah. And they kind of look very similar. I mean, there's definitely a family resemblance between the two men.
Yes.
So, but we're so thrilled to have had Sean Gunn on today. We hope you enjoyed the show as well. Come back next week because it's Cousin Johnny. And that doesn't sound thrilling, but trust me, it's a crazy show, man. These two are nuts. Nuts fun. Like good people, funny, nuts stuff. So you're going to enjoy it. I enjoyed it when he was here. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Are you still there? I'm like,
I'm
wait a
still,
minute. You're checking your text now. You're being all,
well, I'm looking at my social media. It's very important.
Then how can you say goodbye if you're doing that?
I'm saying goodbye. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So, all right.
That's how I say goodbye, right there.
Yes. And so...
That's my own special way.
We love you.
We love you.
You're smart and good. See ya. See you next week, folks. Just say bye to get the last word?
Guys.
Thank you.
Smiling, praying for some faith. Thoughts are drifting through my mind and filling it with fear. Is there something else out there, and just why are we here? Then I see the world will turn, and we must be its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes, gone comes we must reply. Powers from our mother earth, they'll blow us to our knees. While our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. Reading moments one by one and smirking like a thief. Sleeping through another night and deepening our peace. Genesis and matter's wake is coming from our sun. Living in this very moment, for this moment's done. But now I see the dawn will come, and we are all its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes, the Godhead in the skies. Powers from our mother earth, it's all we'll ever be. All our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. lessons as we worship at our shrine. Bursting flowers into bloom, there's no such thing as time. Powers from our Mother Earth will blow us to our knees. Twisting, turning, minds are burning, join us if you please. And now I see that I am just beginning its demise. Flashing bits of comic light that vanish from the skies. Powers from our Mother Earth is all we'll ever be. All our souls to bind as one. Come join us if you please. If you please. If you please. If you please.
There he is. It's that man standing over Blood Alley Square, protecting us all.
Show me what you got.
That's a lovely, lovely voice.
T-Bane.
That's a lovely, lovely voice.
Kicking it old school.
Fire rises. It would be extremely painful for you
To kick it old school. Autoerotic asphyxiation often leads to premature ejaculation or PME. PME. Oh God, I'm doing again. Oh, it feels so good.
That's a lovely, lovely voice. That's a lovely, lovely voice. It would be extremely painful for you.
Oops, I did it again. Right in my pants. Oh, it feels so good.
That's a lovely, lovely voice.
I like what you got. Good job.
Comedy comes in threes.
Go get him, that man.